Good day. Welcome to a special edition of Spotlight on Mahopac Schools. I'm Eric Gross, your host, along with Superintendent of Schools, Anthony DiCarlo. And Anthony and I, if you've been a listener of our programs and a viewer, have been talking about the opening of school for quite some time. Visiting schools, explaining exactly what was going to happen, what might not happen. Well, the latest information is, unfortunately, it's not going to happen for some time. Anthony, tell our viewers the bad news.
Yeah, so as you know from my last spotlight last week, I had possibly said that this could happen. And as you know, and to be very transparent, as all the districts were looking to put their plans together, and of course we were one of them, and we spent a lot of work over the summertime getting the plan together. And then what had happened is probably about 2.5 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago it started. You had some school districts up north where many of our teachers reside, decide that they were not going to start hybrid, they were going to go remote. And one of the things that is happening, everybody, is some of the districts decided to go remote to watch how the others were going to open up and see how it went. Was it going to be successful? Might there be a case of COVID and they have to shut down? And based on looking at some of the other districts doing hybrid, they could then determine what they were going to do. Well, Eric, as that happened and more school districts did that, as we know, we had a couple of neighboring districts this week do the same thing. We've had more and more teachers put in for the Family First Response Act, which allows them right now up till December 31st, but now it's up in the courts to get it extended. It allows them to take up to 12 weeks for childcare. And there's no discussion. It's not like FMLA, you have to get approval, and if it's something that the district feels is not necessary, they can deny it. That doesn't work this way. So as the days went by over the last couple of weeks and now this week, we've become inundated with teachers who are requesting that. Plus, Eric, teachers who already have some kind of underlying condition and cannot come in and work would have to either take a leave of absence or would have to possibly do some remoting in. With that being said, Eric, we have to spend time now to try to get these positions replaced. And that takes time. We have some nurses who are not coming in. I just reminded you about teachers, when we have other staff. So we just don't have the personnel to open the school year like we originally had thought we were going to be able to do on September 9th. So what we're doing is we have an anticipated date that hopefully we'll be able to work these things out and be able to get people for that leave replacements and be able to fill in. So we're looking at an anticipated date of October 5th to hopefully go back to that hybrid model. I know it's not easy to hear. It upsets me. We put a lot of time and effort into it. We explained what we're doing. And I know the public understands that. This is not just happening at Mahopac. This is happening around the lower Hudson Valley as every day is going by, and the ripple effect as more and more schools do it, that's when you get the tick up, and therefore you can't be able to staff your schools because of the fact that you don't have bodies.
In the meantime, though, on September 8th, there will be remote learning.
There will be remote learning. So
Okay.
Here's what's happening. So next week we have our regularly scheduled superintendent's conference days. Teachers will be coming into their rooms and virtually they'll be getting that. Originally what the plan was with us the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th in our hybrid model to transition our students in. Right. It's no longer going to be hybrid. It's going to be full remote. So the 9th, 10th, and 11th will still be half days, but they'll be remote. On the 14th of September, which is the Monday, we start our full remote schedule for everybody. So it doesn't matter anymore, and I want to make sure everybody understands that. The AB days are gone. Everybody's learning remote 5 days a week. Okay, that's very important to understand. There are, though, some exceptions with our very fragile students with special needs and our English language population, English language learner population will be coming in still full day. Okay, because that's an issue of equity, and the state has really talked about fragile students as well as our L learners. But for the vast majority of our district, we're going to be starting full remote, okay? And then anticipating hopefully on the 5th being able to go back to our hybrid model. And of course, Eric, on our Tuesdays and Fridays throughout the next month. I'll be updating the progress and what's going on.
It'll
But I,
be similar then, or the same thing as it was in March when schools were ordered closed.
yes, but
Okay.
the rigor and the interaction with teachers is going to be very different. It'll be like a normal school day. So you will get up. If the school day starts at the high school at 7:20, you're getting onto your computer. There's your first period teacher. Your first period teacher is done. You go on to your third. So it will be a normal school day, and there'll be a lot more of that synchronous interaction with the teacher.
Okay.
But here's what I have to implore to the community, and I mentioned this last night at the board meeting. Many of these protocols and guidance that we have to follow is being dictated by the Department of Health and the state, okay, as well as the judicial branch, who has allowed these first responder acts to take place, which are impacting us and our availability to open.
State Department of Health.
Correct.
Okay.
What should have happened from the beginning, Eric, was that the governor's office, the State Department of Health, and the New York State Education Department all should have sat down and developed a program to be able to get kids in and do it that it applied to all the schools. That was the failure. So what's happening now is there's a lot of upsetment. What do you mean this can be done, that can't be done? What do you mean about the Department of Health? What do you mean I gotta come and get my kid if they're just sneezing and coughing? They have normal seasonal allergies. What do you mean I have to go to the doctor and I have to get a COVID test? What do you mean my kid could be out? These are all the things that should have been discussed. And they were all put on the school districts to be able to try to navigate your way through. I'm trying to tell parents, the people to go have those discussions with and try to change some of these things, again, in a very health conscious way. I'm not looking for things to be done away with. No, we have a pandemic. But how can we get kids back into school? And I think that's something that is really comes from the state level. And we have to start to have those conversations with our state elected officials and the governor's office to be able to say, how are we going to get kids back in? I have to be honest with you. I don't know when. Putnam County is at 0.5%. 0.5%, right?
Mm-hmm. I can't get much lower.
0.5%. So I struggle with that.
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with it because, to me, if we're not coming back now, when are we coming back?
Mm-hmm.
And I do understand, and I want to make this clear. I do in my heart of hearts know that teachers want to get back to normalcy. They want to be with the kids. They want to go back to the way it was. I get that. And they do have some real concerns. Some of them have some real health concerns, either themselves or a significant person in the family. And then, of course, we put on top of that the child care issue. So it's not easy. I'm acknowledging that. But we got to get kids back into school. We got to get kids back to playing sports, and we'll talk about that in a second. So I understand that this is a very difficult decision that none of us want to make. And I know you're going to say out there, Mr. DiCarlo, why did you wait so long? We tried to hold on as long as we could, Eric, but as more and more of the surrounding districts went to full remote, and then we got more and more requests, we just can't open our buildings. Okay, we just can't do it. I wish I could tell the public we can't, and that's the reason why we're taking the pause to be able to go out, to recruit, to interview, and get people in these specific positions so that we can open the building for our students.
We told people from day one, this Anthony, that when we first started filming these programs a number of weeks ago, you can go right down to the wire. You
Yes.
yourself said that.
Yes, I know. And what's happening, Eric, is, and you know this, and I know the public knows it, you have our surrounding districts that are doing the same thing. This is just not about Mahopac and Mahopac, doing this on their own. It's not. It's literally happening every single day, and for the same reasons. This is not where the reasons are so much different from district to district. They're not. One of the things that is going to be said, well, Mr. DiCarlo, there are some districts that are not doing it. Those are your smaller districts that are very, very small. They don't have the amount and volume of teaching staff that we do, not just teachers, but support staff. And so they can do it. most of, if you look at it, most of your mid to average or bigger size districts are the ones who are wind up struggling with this. So I know it's not easy. I have to tell you, Eric, I've been trying to work with our providers. I thought there may be an opportunity to work with St. John's, because their building is closed, to maybe set it up as childcare, to maybe work, because we can't do it, but work with some of the providers. Eric, it's a 5 and 6 month delay to try to get these things approved.
Yeah.
So nothing is easy. We're trying our hardest to work through it. You know, I advised the board last night about this at an emergency board meeting. We spoke about it. You know, they're clearly aware of what we're looking to do, and we're going to try our best. We're hoping that, you know, in working with the teachers and the unions and the staff, that those individuals that are putting in for it, and they have a right to, if we can know who they are sooner than later, then we can know what those positions are that we have to either get a leave replacement or get a fill-in that would allow us to be able to open up, you know, anticipated on or about October 5th.
You've been around a long time in education. Are there people out there?
Well, here's the problem. We're all in the same boat. The entire lower Hudson Valley is all in the same boat. So I'm being a realist. And one of the things is that I'm going to be honest, I can't answer that. I don't know. I really, really don't know. We're going to try our hardest, but we're all competing for what those spots may or may not be. So that's why I'm saying an anticipated date of October 5th. We're hoping that we can. We're hoping that, you know, all the districts around us that have done it. Yeah. And there's not going to be more continual ripple effects. So hopefully in the next week, we'll know what those solid numbers are, and then specifically what we need to be able to do. And that's what we're looking at. But like I said to you, right now the law says that, you know, that this can be done through December 31st of this year. I'll let you know there's an amendment that's up, okay, in the state to continue it. So these are the things that I'm telling you about that hamstring myself as a superintendent and all the districts, because of those stringent DOH guidelines, because of these other things that are under the Family First Response Act. And we're just trying to work with it. And again, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I know in my heart of hearts, you know, we have teachers who really want to come back and be able to do this. And I think we're going to try to work to our best of our ability to come together and get our kids to come back to school.
Wow.
Yeah. So while we were not taping over the last couple of days, we got another decision that came down from the governor, and that's about sports. Very similar issue, okay? In the fact that sports can start on September 21st. Volleyball and football can right now work out, but there is no specific date for that sport to start, and they're saying that they'll give you an answer on December 31st. Well, that can become very, very problematic. So there's, again, a lot of speculation out there. I know that LoHUD ran an article 2 days ago from the New York State Association of Superintendents stating that superintendents don't want this to happen and want it to be put off. I don't agree with it. I didn't know anything about the letter. A lot of us did not in Section 1. I believe, again, we're at 5%. If we can get kids, and we always talk about social and emotional wellness and readiness, and the governor has said, this is important, because this is a question out there. The governor has said, even though you may be learning remotely, you can still play a sport. So I know Section 1, as we're taping this, and today's date is August 28th. Section 1 will be coming out next week, so on or about September 1st, with letting you know what is going to wind up happening with sports in Section 1 for the fall. I think we need to do it. I'm one superintendent. I think it's important for kids, and if we can do it in a safe and effective manner, it's the way to be able to do it. You know, there's arguments on both sides, Eric. I will tell you right now, kids have been playing sports the entire summer in clubs and travel teams, and at least to my knowledge, I haven't seen anything wide blown that has transpired. Then you get others that say, "Oh, it's ridiculous if the colleges can't get it right, and the Big Ten and Pac-10 say they can't do it. How can high school sports do it, and they do it in an effective manner?" So as long as we again get the guidelines from the New York State Physical Education Department and the athletic department on what we need to do for practices and game situations, and we follow what should happen, I'm hoping that the kids are going to be able to play. We'll see, and that's again to be determined. But as of now, it's September 21st. The kids can start to start to practice, and then when games are played, that depends on how things go over that first 2 weeks.
So what do you want folks to do out there besides contact their senator, their assembly person, call the governor's
And
office?
I know this is just kind of, I get it. I get it. I've told them since the beginning of the march to try to be patient. I understand that parents have tried to be patient. I understand their angst, their upsetment. Here you have a district that said we're going to get ready to open, we're going to go hybrid. We make all these plans, we have these town hall meetings, and then what's happening is happening. So, at the end of the day, again, I know that the people of the Mahopac community are resilient. We're going to hopefully, in this pause period over the next month, be able to, get people to come in and take some of these leave replacements and replace some of the teachers that are going to be out because of child care and have to be with their children at home. We're going to try as hard as we can, Eric. We really, really are. And I think the community knows a little bit about me. I'm honest. I'm truthful. I get it. We've never been through a pandemic before, Eric.
No.
Never.
No.
We've never experienced this before. We've never gone through it. I understand people are afraid. I do. There's no question. But at the end of the day, we have guidelines that are supposed to help us mitigate it so we can try to open up schools. So it's how do we come to that balance, work with the Department of Health with symptoms and how we can try to streamline things for kids and for symptoms that are not so onerous but still do the job from a health and safety point of view. Working with our staffs, understanding what their needs are and what has to happen with them, and for the best to our kids, try to get them to come back into school.
And the parents are upset. Who's more upset? The kids are upset.
Of course they are.
Kids want to go back to school.
That's what I meant. I had this conversation last night with the board. We spent hours talking about what's happening with this and that, and the unions and health and safety. We never talk about kids.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately a little bit of why this is difficult for all of us, because we're here, we're employed because of kids.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm confident that hopefully we'll be able to come together and resolve some of these readiness things so that we can get the kids to come back, and we're going to work as hard as we can. And to people that are out there, there have been in the Penny Saver and the Mahopac News and in other publications, anybody interested in being a teacher assistant or being a monitor to try to help out so that we can cover some of these issues. Now with teachers you have to be certified and there's other things that need to happen, but we're trying as best to try to fill those positions to the best of our ability.
A little personal story. My family, my son-in-law and daughter recently moved to Colorado.
Okay.
And my son-in-law contacted me overnight. He is a retired police officer, and he wants to be a teacher. So in Colorado, they have a special application now, and you fill it out, you get interviewed. They are so short for teachers there as well.
Yeah.
So if a state like Colorado can do it, there has to be something New York State can do.
Yeah, so what New York State does allow, Eric, and they have lessened some of the requirements. So as long as you have a high school degree, you can substitute. However, that doesn't mean you're qualified to be in a classroom. And you want to make sure that the individual has some experience and some training before you just put them into a classroom. That's easy to say because you want the individual to be able to understand the specific level of the child that they're supervising, what that curriculum area may be, because then all what you're doing is you're babysitting.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that's, that becomes somewhat problematic. But again, we have opportunities, as I mentioned to you. Go to some of those different areas if you're interested in becoming a monitor or a TA. We have on OLAS, we have a variety of different things open. We're looking for permanent subs. There's somebody out there who does have a teaching degree, has not found a job as of yet, and would like to come to the district and be a permanent sub or a TA. A lot of times, Eric, permanent subs and TAs, because we see them over the year, become teachers. So those of you who may out there who are just graduating, college or graduate school and looking for a job, please contact us. We'd more than willing like you to come in and talk with us and see what we'd be able to work out.
Anthony, of course, puts out his bi-weekly newsletters. Another one will be coming out Friday, then the following Tuesday. So latest up-to-date information will be allowed in your living rooms or your offices on the computer each and every Tuesday and Friday.
Yes, I thank you. And again, there'll be a lot of things happening in those updates over the next number of weeks. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yep.
Be well.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it. And Stas, thank
Superintendent
you.
of Schools, Anthony DiCarlo, our producer-director, cameraman, Stash Pizmilski. We thank you so much for joining us for this special edition of Spotlight on Mahopac Schools. I'm Eric Gross. Until next time, be safe. See you all then. Bye-bye now.
For more information, please visit our website, www.mahopac.k12.ny.us.